So today it's Friday, and this is the trouble. Lockdown's just about ended. I'm back at church, and it's all stopping me from doing what we've been doing in the past. So what have we got? We've got another emergency set. It's the Cybernet ZX1, and Mark, interestingly enough, of course, he's handled ZX2, as you know. Spotted this on eBay about 10 years ago, and he went to fetch it for me. So I've never touched it, never looked at it. Let's hope it's complete, because I fancy doing another of those. Yes, it is. Yeah, now doesn't that look like the General Electric American one? Oops, knob falls off. I hope it isn't a GE. No, it's Cybernet ZX1. So, and I'm hoping I've changed microphones here, and I've changed mixers to a cheaper one. We were using some Panasonic broadcast equipment, and I'm now using one of these baby's first Barbie doll, whatever they're called, mixers. But it'll, at least the YouTube will recognise the output, even if it'll be inferior at this end. So let's have a look. So get the telescopic aerial. Which hopefully is all there. Oh, here we go. It's had the wire permanently wired into it. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. I'll put that on one side. So we'll have to, we might have one in stock, otherwise I might have to make up a cigarette lighter lead. I've never seen the Cybernet one of these, as I say, and this was an eBay purchase. I think it was 20 quid. But, we'll see. I do find it frustrating when people do things like this, because, I mean, how difficult is it to make up or even buy the right kind of connector and all that? Just hopefully got that about channel 20-ish for our tests. Oh, just realised it's got an LED readout, hasn't it, on this? So the fact the knob has to be calibrated isn't as important. So that's posher, and it's got a transmit and receive signal meter, which is posher. Squelch is this bizarre slider control saying receiving range. And the output transistor has lost its mounting hardware. And is just rattling around. But it doesn't look to be, I can't see where it's had that, but we will put it in, because to me that is vital. So, condenser microphone and a half decent sized speaker. Wrong way with the zoom. So I'm going to have to take the chassis out of here and see what they've actually done. Oh, that's not too difficult, no screws. Well, the first thing to do is to snip that wire off. And that can go in the vertical filing cabinet. and we've got a PTBM number for people who are into Cybernet. (16340). Certainly Cybernet then, with a number like that. It's not pretending. I'll get that unsoldered, and I'd better make up the proper lead for it, and then we'll look into why we've got no mounting hardware on the output transistor. But I think what we'll do, it's had the output transistor changed by the looks of that. I can see some inferior soldering there. I think somebody's lost the hardware or doesn't realise what it's there for. That's not a problem. I expect this was bought as working, you know. All those years ago, I can't really go back and tell. Let's see if we've got some heat on this soldering iron. Right, I'll stop the video and I'll go and see if we can find a suitable power lead for this. Might have one in stock. So fast forward 15 minutes and it's been to Mr. Chippy's bench, and he's put an insulation kit on the output transistor and resoldered it because it was a bit of a mess. It did have the thermal transfer pad, it's not micronless, floating around inside the set, so that's done. Meanwhile, I found a cigarette lighter plug, so we'll kind of put this back in its back case. Just like that. Oh, hang on a minute. The audio IC's not got a screw in it either. And it can't get a screw in it because the numpty's changed it. The legs are too short. So he's gone and used a second-hand one, hasn't he? Probably out of a scrap AM set. Ugh. You know, you just think you're there. I mean, that'd be really clever, wouldn't it, with an audio IC with. So we had the output transistor with no screwing to the heatsink, and then the audio IC not being screwed to the heatsink. You know, really, really clever bodge there. Right, we'll pause the video again. Go and have another trip to Mr. Chippy's bench. Take it back out of this case. I'm glad I check all these things. You know, you shouldn't be having this happen. I don't know whether you can see, but it's actually. I'll just see if we can zoom in on that. Can you see that the tab for the device is actually there, and the hole is up there. Tab, hole, half an inch out. Oops, wrong way. Right, we'll see what Mr. Chippy can do for that. Right, well, he's been to Mr. Chippy's bench again. So we've actually decided the chip which was in was a KIA7217. And I thought, well, it can't be. I know it worked when I switched it on, but it can't be a KIA7217. So the reason I say that, if it's KIA, it's a Korean chip. Well, this is a Japanese radio, and Cybernet always use Toshiba, don't they, for the audio ICs? Well, certainly on the UK sets I've seen. And so I thought, well, surely it's going to be TA7205. So I looked at the data sheet between the 7217 and 7205, and it's the same pinout. So I think he's nicked that out of a scrap AM SSB type set, and then of course it didn't fit the heatsink. Well, this just clearly fits perfectly. So Mr. Chippy's put that in. I haven't got him to clip the leads off yet or clean it up in case it's got to come back out and it doesn't work. So this will be the moment of truth. We'll power it up with what we believe to be the right chip in it, and I can't find a circuit diagram. Try as I might, I can't. Well, there we go. So that works. Ah, good. Oh, now we've got a oh no, we haven't. Or have we? Yeah, we've got some strain somewhere. The display's playing it. We'll look into that later. So, channel 20. Let's try again. And now we will go into transmit and see if we can work out what we're going to have to tune up. Now, there's no circuit diagram. I've looked, so it's all guesswork. Now, I would think if the synthesizer's up there, that's probably the only transmit coil. I would expect it's going to come down here, and I would expect everything else to be received. That looks like the detector. So we'll see what happens. Now then, on this switcher we've got picture in picture somewhere, and you can't alter the size of it. It's pretty namby-pamby, but hopefully we've got no. Ah, there we go. One tiny little meter. I hope you're all watching this on a big a big screen. Anyway, it's better than nothing, and I wanted the main picture to be better, even if we have to buy inferior equipment to do it. So going to transmit. Of course, now I'm blowing it up because I'm not. I've got the aerial unplugged, haven't I? Right, try again. So it's doing 4 watts. So that's the 5 watt line, that's the 4 watt line, it's doing the 3 watts line. Did I say that? Probably not. So let's see whether this affects transmit. Yes, it does. And it was already more or less at peak. Now there is another one. It's back there. I expect that's already at peak as well. Let's see what we're doing. 0.86, so it's 870 milliamp. No, I can't actually see any other preset for this. So it might be how it is, 3 watts. some of these coils have been messed with, and the placement of them, it can be critical to the power it generates. We'll just see if we can zoom out from that. These are, I don't, you know, we don't want the coil stretcher out here. We've seen the results of some of these on the spectrum analyzer. It just makes you sometimes wonder whether that's the. We'll look at it. I'll look at it on the spectrum analyzer behind the scenes. Doing about 3.3 watts. Those coils look like that's where they should be. I'll just backtrack now on that adjustment there. Yeah, that's definitely peak. At least this transistor's got a heatsink to go to. So it's got a low power setting. So flick it to low power and it should be 0.4 of a watt. Oh. Right. So we've got 3 presets. One's going to be deviation. Let's see if we can find that first. Now the condenser mic is on the case. Put the oscillator underneath. Press transmit. And see which one alters. Not that one. To be honest, I'd expect it to be the one up there, but I might be wrong. Yeah, it looks like that's it. Ah, hang on a minute, the power's altering. No, that doesn't look right. Okay, so we've got a power preset there. So we now want this to be 0.4 of a watt, and 0.4 of a watt is just there. So we know the upper one of those is the low power preset. I can now switch this back to high. I wonder why somebody had adjusted that so it was at full whack. There we go. Back to 3.5 watts ish. To have a closer inspection and see if I can see another preset. No, we'll have to come back to deviation because I can't. I would expect it to be the one up there, and it's not having any effect. So it might be hidden somewhere else, or it might not be working. So we'll go on to receive. It's the only thing I want to check. I don't think we can do anything about the. I don't think this is going to be alterable. The power output meter. We'll just check. So we're on. Oh yeah, we're on. Oh, it's transmitted audio. Oh, I didn't realise that. Wallow. Well, that's interesting. So that works all right, doesn't it? Right, we'll go back to receive and start on that. So Squelch works the opposite way to normal, so that's minimum. So we'll have to connect to this test set with a crocodile clip. Don't think we'll need to, but I will just check. Just see if the earth returns through the aerial or whether it's from the speaker. No, it's from the aerial, it's alright. So move the other camera. I'll tell you what, we'll do the detector first. Wrong way, that way. Just putting an S9 signal on the radio. While I've got an S9 signal on the radio, we'll just see whether this preset affects it. And the answer is no. We'll see whether this preset affects it. And it does. So the top one is the preset there is the S meter, and I've now got 4 bars, which if I can find the front, which is attached, yeah, right. So we've set that. Mr. Chip is asking for an audience. Oh, he's doing the labels for the power supply. I will come back when I've done it. We're back on record. We were going to do the detector, that was it. And I was going to move the camera, which I have done, into a suitable position. So, as ever, I'll just turn the bench light off. We're looking for maximum recovered audio. We have actually gained a fraction there, so that's always good news. We'll just move the camera up to the cyanide meter and switch the bench light back on, turn the signal generator down. We're now listening to 1 microvolt. I want it about there so we can actually do some tuning. So this will be, I would think these are the front end. Now that's having no effect, so it must be the something to do with transmit. That's brought it up a fraction. I'll just check that again. Oh, no, it is received. There we are. That's it, there's nothing more to adjust. So we can just hear 0.3 of a microvolt. Turns the volume down a fraction. So let's see what it's doing. And as ever, 12 is the industry standard. So for 20 dB, we are looking at 2.7 dB. For 12, see if we can go on to the other scale. Yes, we can. For 12 dB, we're looking at 0.95. And then for 10 dB, it's around about 0.8. So certainly not exciting figures. Will it work as well as that Maxcom 7E? And there we are. We'll find out. So let's look at the Squelch. So I've switched the Squelch off, and now we'll advance the Squelch to threshold. That's there. Now we'll switch the Squelch on at 0.3 of a microvolt. Nothing. So now we'll advance the Squelch till it comes in. Sorry, we'll advance the signal generator till it comes in. It's coming at 1 microvolt. So to give you an exact figure, it's coming in at 0.65 and it's leaving at 0.55. There's nothing wrong with that Squelch sensitivity. But let's look at it at the other end. So turn it to full and let's see where we are. That's 1 microvolt, 3 microvolts, 10 microvolts, 30 microvolts. Now, I'd prefer it to come in at 100 microvolts, and I don't know whether that other adjustment down here is in fact Squelch, so we'll see. It is. How handy. There we are. So I've now got the Squelch coming in at 100 microvolts, leaving at 30 microvolts, and now we'll go and do that test again at the other end. So we'll drop the signal generator to nothing, Squelch to nothing, advanced threshold, just check I'm right, don't like sliders, switch on, and the Squelch is coming in at 0.45, leaving at 0.3. That's excellent. So now we've got the Squelch spot on. Don't expect I'll ever see one of these again. So there isn't a TX meter. but it's I'm going to say modulation meter, but of course FM doesn't modulate, it deviates. So anyway, see if you're on frequency. I'll just pop this camera onto the frequency counter. So go back into transmit. Should be 27,79125, and it's very slightly low. So let's have a look, see whether that's adjustable, whether it's a trimmer capacitor for the reference crystal. Ah, I've found another preset. I bet that's deviation then. I bet that's the missing deviation. It's right down there. That tool doesn't reach. It does, but it's on the right angle. Now let's look at that deviation again. So go back to FM deviation, switch the oscillator back on, go into transmit. We'll still look at 1.2-ish. There we are, deviation. Let's see where that is. Wallow, spot on, D2.2. So aye, we are. That was worth looking for. I was still looking for the frequency trimmer, however. The reference crystal is there and there is no trimmer capacitor, so that solved that problem. I'll tell you what, I will just check that. I know I might upset the VCO. I will just check. It's possible for these to be, so carefully put that back. So you can't adjust the frequency, we're well within spec, and as you can probably see, got an LC7137 down there. So that's the VCO, and we'll keep well away from it. Okay, well I'll pause the video and put a bit of it together. Oh, and so to conclude, we've now got it on the aerial, and we'll just have a flick round. And of course I can't hear anything out here in the middle of nowhere. One 919 Roger. I do find the meter for the transmitted audio interesting. There's only the realistic base station, I think, does that. So no, there's nobody out there, but we'll do a test with Mr. Chippy later on, and we'll see how it performs. Clearly this is a more expensive radio than the Cybernet, and the Cybernet one is a more expensive radio than the Maxcom 7E we did the other week. But does it work as well? That's the big question. And it's been through the wars. It's got a lump missing down there, and you know, bits of the case are kind of missing as well. But there we are. I mean, it's better than nothing. Well, at least we've got the kit here. Especially if I'll switch that off because I'm putting the case down on top of the transmit button. We've not got the instruction book, but it's still got the inlay with the quick instructions there. And still got the Cybernet logo on that aerial. So I'm pleased to have it. I think I paid £20 for it, but we've had to change the audio IC, and we've had to mount that properly, and we've had to mount that output transistor. So it was a bit of a bodge. No doubt the person that sold us it was the bodger. That's what I'm expecting. I know it came from rather Mr. ZX2 was a bit wary about the area he was picking it up from, shall I say. So yeah, right, we'll see how it performs later on. And thank you for watching the label's missing. Thank you for watching the Cybernet ZX1 emergency kit radio from 1982.